Oh, wow. How do I follow that? Unbelievable. Chris and I, come here, Chris. Chris and I go back a lot of years, and I've always used to tease him. What he didn't tell you, when he came to my house 29 years ago, my beautiful daughter Terry's in the house here tonight with her husband, Chris. By the way, if you need a hand, shoulder, elbow surgeon, he's the best in the business, Dr. Sforzo. But he's here with my grandson, Ryan, a terrific lacrosse player. I wish we'd play some hoops. But bottom line is, when he came in, my daughter Sherry's not here tonight. She just sent me a text. My daughter Sherry has a little problem. She wanted to be here so badly. But my other 4 grandkids, Connor, Jake, and Ava and Sydney, are playing in a national tournament, tennis, down there. They qualified down in Boca, and they had to go because the kids, it's a big, big tournament. But I want to tell them this. When you came to my house 29 years ago, George, my man, was not the CEO of ESPN at the time, but he didn't tell you, John, he was bitching and moaning, complaining. You know, I only make about $20,000 a year. $20,000 a year. They pay me no money. They keep telling me they're giving me exposure. You know what, sucker? I did research. Now you make $20,000 a day. It's unbelievable. My man, Chris Fowler. Good job, Chris. Hey, and I'm not lying about that. I see my former agent here, Peter Goldberg. 25 years, 30 years ago was my guy. I just whispered in his ear a moment ago. I said, you represent Robin, huh? You here? I know one thing, man. That check you get off hers, a hell of a lot bigger than what you got off me, baby. But seriously, I want to get down to why we're here. I could tell jokes all night, but it's tough for me to joke here. It really is, when I see what we have in this room. This room is filled with greatness. It's filled with greatness in the world of sports. My God, what other room could you get? National championship coach John Calipari's. You got John Gruden, Super Bowl champs. David Boss, Super Bowl football player. We got national championship coaches in the house like Urban Meyer. I mean, we had a 2-time Heisman Trophy winner, Archie Griffin. And it goes on and on. This room is filled with greatness in sports, but it's also filled with greatness from the corporate world, from the legal world, from every walk of life. This area has responded. You've responded so positively. And all I could say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been unbelievable how you've responded. Tonight would not happen without the incredible performance of the ladies sitting to my right. Mary, would you stand, please? And will you stand, Janet? I can't thank them enough and give them my thank yous here for how dedicated and determined they are to try and help in every way possible. And I have to thank my beautiful wife. Lorraine, will you stand, Lorraine? Wow. Lorraine and I will celebrate our 45th year. 45th year of marriage next week. And I'll tell you, if there's a Hall of Famer, Chris mentioned my 13 Hall of Fames, forget about that. That's the Hall of Famer of my life. Hey, Lorraine, did I say it the way you told me to say it? But Lorraine has been, I'm so blessed that my 2 girls, Terry and Sherry, are intellectual and physically and emotionally like their mother and not their father. But I thank you so much. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank all the big sponsors. There's certainly a few I have to mention. Every person that bought a ticket here is vital. But there are certain people. Tonight, the Lightning are playing. They're playing in the finals of the Eastern Conference. My man John Saunders introduced me a little to hockey. He hasn't taught me about the lines yet, but he got me involved, and I love that man. That man he just was down in New Jersey and presented me as I got into the New Jersey Hall of Fame with Derek Jeter and Jon Stewart, and I was so proud to have you there, John. But you really were terrific in how you got me involved in hockey, and the owner of the Lightning, to me, is one of the best owners of all the sports. He's unbelievable. Today, he had an event 3 weeks ago that he asked me to speak at, and it was community heroes, people that do things for the community. And what he does at every Lightning game, gives $50,000 to someone that's a community hero, and it goes to their charity. Well, I was fortunate one year to get it, and it went to the V Foundation. But Jeff is a terrific owner, Mr. Vinnick. And let me tell you this. Today, he had sent me a text apologizing for not being able to be here, that he's with his team as they're playing the Penguins tonight. But he said, Dick, I want you and Penny to know, and I hope I don't embarrass him. He said, count me for $100,000. So I gotta thank my buddy Terry Marks here, CEO of Hooters. Terry, where are you with your beautiful wife, Cecile? Stand up, Terry. I want you to stand up. The reason I want him to stand up, where's Terry? The reason I want you to stand, I want you people to hear me here. How's this for a year donation from Hooters? Well, they're giving us in pediatrics, we're going to get $100,000. But forget that. For breast cancer, he's had every one of his stores. They have given to the V Foundation, as Susan, our great CEO, has told me, $700,000. Thank you, Terry. I got to thank all my buddies who never ever let me down who are here. The Art Confortis, the Mike Valdezes, it goes on, John Morans, all those people, anytime I call upon them, they are there, they respond. And they respond because many of us, as Chris mentioned, we're all affected by that disease. And tonight, I'm going to bring up here my All Courageous team, a bunch of youngsters that prove that you coaches, this room is filled with unbelievable coaching power in the world of basketball, football. But let me tell you, every coach would love the coaches' kids that I'm going to bring up here a little while. But first I want to say this. Our guy Jimmy V, I know up in heaven, he is dancing with joy, knowing that all his buddies like this have come out here tonight to make this night possible. Jimmy had a dream, man. He had a dream when he passed the cancer. I will never forget, a lot of people don't remember this, but Jimmy had that first at SB Awards when he was named the winner of the Arthur Ashe Award. That night, I was introduced by Dustin Hoffman, and I was a little nervous, and Dustin said, man, he's your friend. You don't need no script. Just talk about him, and I did. But I thought Jimmy would just come up and simply say thank you. If you had seen him the night before, many of my friends here from the V Foundation, Derek on the board, and John, who works so diligently on the board, all board members, George Bodenheimer, busting his gut now on the board, the great leadership we get from Susan. But a lot of people didn't know this. That night, I begged Jimmy the night before. Pam, his beautiful wife, and Pam Valvano Strasser in the house. Where are you, Pam? Stand up. I know you're here somewhere. That night, I called the house because I went to a rehearsal at Radio City. I went to rehearsal and I was blown away. I had no idea it's going to be such a magnificent night. The first SB Awards. The first Jimmy V night. It was unbelievable that night, getting that first award. And I went, I called him up. I said, Jimmy, man, it's going to be unbelievable tomorrow. And he said, Dick, you think I'm worried about getting a trophy, man? I'm battling for my life, man. I can't come. I don't feel good. I said, Jimmy, you got to come, man. You got to come. They got this video. They got all this. I'm presenting, making it special for you. And I begged him. But he came on a plane with Mike Krzyzewski and his wife. Pam knows this. Throwing up, sick as a dog. When he got to the hotel, he was sick as you couldn't believe. And I was like trying to get the assistant producers and people to say, hey, look, let him just sit down and we'll bring a microphone over. And he called me over and said, what are you doing, man? I said, Jimmy, we'll make it easy for you. Dick, I didn't come here for that. Get me up on that stage. And I stood next to him. And I was there, standing there, because I thought it was simply a thank you. And I was mesmerized, as many of us. That speech has captivated. Look what that speech has done. That speech has now created where we're close to $200 million in the V Foundation to help battle cancer. And incredible. As Jimmy said so well, cancer can take away my physical abilities, to paraphrase him. Can't touch my heart, can't touch my soul, can't touch my spirit and mind. And I will battle and battle. And Jimmy said there'll be 3 things every day you should do. Should be moved, yes, to humor. Should be moved to thought. And you should be moved to tears. We're going to make Jimmy V's theme alive here tonight. You will be moved to tears. You'll be moved to humor. And you'll be moved to thought. Because that's what this is all about. I beg you and I plead with you. I was at a press conference. And I told Urban sitting there, I'm so proud of our honored guests. Bo Ryan, for example, we know he can coach. No doubt what he did in rebuilding that Wisconsin program. But the money he has raised for cancer in Madison just recently has been off the charts. I think about when I look here at Urban and his beautiful wife, Shelley, what they have done in my research. My buddy Larry Wade in the house, who's a Buckeye lover, told me all about the James Cancer Society, Cancer Hospital, and what you've done at Ohio University in the Cancer Center has been unbelievable, off the charts. The dollars he has raised, he and his wife, millions. And then our other honoree, Robin Roberts. All I could simply say is this. I told Robin before we came up here, I will never forget the first time I worked with Robin at ESPN. I came home and I said to my wife, I said, hon, put this down, take it to the bank. She is a future superstar, no doubt. She has the whole package, man. She has the whole package. You know, Robin, we have in the house here today Kristen Posey, the beautiful wife of Buster Posey, who's a 5-star player like the Harpers and the Trouts. But you, my lady friend, you're 5-star in the world of broadcasting. Personality, likability, communication ability, beauty, and brains. You got all 5, man. 5 tool. Just like a Harper and Trout who could run, throw, field, hit with power, hit with average. You got it all. And I'm honored and I'm thrilled when John Saunders called me up and said, Dick, it's done. She is coming. They're going to let us honor her. I was screaming with joy. Awesome, baby, awesome. Tonight in this room, which really blows my mind, people ask me so often, why are you so obsessed about this? Raising money for kids. Why? I got 5 healthy grandkids. Playing tennis today. Ryan will be playing baseball, lacrosse tomorrow. They're healthy. And I have fear like anybody else because I've heard so many stories from all these people I've gotten to know personally. I've got to know them so well, their families. They become part of my life. My phone rings regularly now. My face has become synonymous. The other day we went to eat at a tremendous restaurant in this area for Mother's Day. My daughters, my mom, my wife, and we went to a beautiful restaurant, Beach Bistro, 5-star rated, owner Sean Murphy. He comes up to me. He said, Dick, you know I would never do this. I've never done it all the times you come here. But I'm going to ask you for a favor, and I know you're going to say yes because I know the kind of guy you are. But there was a family here tonight having dinner, and they didn't want to bother you. They saw you sitting there with your wife, but they left the phone number. And the father was practically in tears. And he says, is there any way that Dick would call up and talk to me and my son? My son had a little eye infection. Well, that eye infection all of a sudden turned out to be retinoblastoma, and they had to remove his eye. And the traumatic experience, he's 8 years old, he's playing baseball, and all of a sudden now he says he's depressed and down. And he said, he knows that you lost your eye, Dick. Well, I called him up that night in the car on the way. My son-in-law was with me, Chris, Dr. Swarzo, my daughter, my wife. I called him up that night, and the father, if you'd heard his voice, just went through me like knives to get the pain that man was feeling. And I shared with him, you're going to be what you want to be. Tell him he can be what he wants. He can drive a car, play sports, but I know how he's feeling. He has to be a little worse than me because my eye was never actually removed. I put it with a pencil when I was a kid, lost my vision, but I still have my eye. In this case, they took his eye out, but he'll be fine. But I get that often. We have in this room here tonight people that have paid the ultimate price that nobody ever wants to pay. They have lost their children, and they keep coming back. We played tribute to their families years ago, but they're still here. The Tice family, the Weber family, the Wright family. Robin asked me, how did you get so involved and start this? Patrick and Holly. Please stand. I want Patrick and Holly to please stand. I have these lights. Patrick and Holly lost their child. They lost their child. And I'll paraphrase Holly, one of the most powerful messages ever. She basically said, if I can remember, she looked at this crowd, was filled with coaches like you couldn't believe. The Caliperis, the Petitos, the Selfs, the Izzos, the Brays, the Huggins, all in the house. Several years ago, she asked, can I speak? I said, Holly, you're going to speak. It's going to be an emotional wreck. No, I want to speak. I want to speak. She lost a little girl. My wife and I watched that little girl. Oh, my God, tore my heart out watching her go through a battle with cancer. Had a little pain on her side. That pain on her side ultimately became like a tumor grapefruit. And the doctor, as Patrick has told me so many times, said my life was changed. The day that doctor walked in, I never thought of the word cancer. And he walked in and he said, I got the worst news in the world. Worst news in the world. Your daughter has a tumor there and it's going to spread, it's going to metastasize. And there's really nothing we can basically do except pray and hope for a miracle. My wife and I watched that little girl. When I'd go for breakfast, she'd come. She ultimately was in a wheelchair, was paralyzed. She then lost her vision, was blind, and then she lost her life. And we went to the funeral. And it tore my heart watching a mom and dad put their child to rest. Nothing worse than that. And I got so emotional after. And I ran over to them both, and I said, I'm going to tell you now, we are not going to let her die in vain. I promise you, I'm going to raise $1 million in 6 months in her name and help other kids. And we've been doing it ever since. But they can't do enough. They can't reach out enough. And Holly's words that day, as I said to Robin, they're so powerful. They stay with me. Holly, it's unbelievable. She looked at all the great coaches. And she says, you know your coaches, when you lose a great game, and a tough game, a championship game, it tears your heart out. You feel it's the end of the world. You go home, you're so down. I know I was there in that moment, losing games, and tear your heart out as a coach. And you should. It's your life. You love what you're doing. But the bottom line is, she said to the crowd, you coaches are going to get another game to coach. I am never, ever getting to coach my little girl. That's powerful stuff. Tonight we have two families. We have the Carr family. Where's the Carr family sitting? The Carr family, Lloyd Carr, football coach. Where's Lloyd? Lloyd of Michigan, former Michigan coach. Stand up. I want the Carr family to stand up. Jim Harbaugh of Michigan flew the Carr family here. I met her at halftime of a game when my buddy Mike Tirico came to me and said, Dick, we did a game together up in Michigan, Ann Arbor. He said, I want you to meet this young lady. She lost her son. And I met her. In the first 2 minutes I met her, I just liked her right away. She was so genuine. I came home and I called Susan up right away. I said, Susan, can we do a research grant in the name of that child? She said, absolutely. And I called her back, and they're here today. They're here today. I only wish you didn't have to be here under these circumstances. But what you're doing to help other kids with Chad Tough, the foundation, is amazing. And I respect and love and admire what you do. And the last one I'm going to mention, a family. The dad is here. His wife could not come. His wife, emotionally, he said, could not handle being here. On March 23rd, they lost their precious girl. Precious girl. How was she so precious? I was telling Robin, if you get a chance, Google the name Julia Mounts. How is this? Speak 4 languages, a dance superstar, violinist, a pianist, a singer who did not only perform in Sarasota, all over the world, all over the world. And as the dad told me, dancing, she started having pain in her ankle. Well, what do you do? Pain in the ankle, coaches. We put ice on it, get it ready, and you'll be fine in a couple days. Well, it wasn't fine. That pain in the ankle turned out to be bone cancer. And on March 23rd, that precious 13-year-old lost her life. That is why I'm obsessed, because it could be my kids, it could be your kids. We need money. You heard Chris tell you, 4 cents out of every dollar for research goes for kids. Susan's doing an amazing job in making sure that pediatrics is being recognized. We've raised $15.2 million. It's not enough. Not enough. We need so much more. Tonight, I told Urban and I told Bo, tonight, if I can't walk out of this room, this is my Super Bowl. This is my game, John Gruden. This is my game, Urban Meyer. And if I can't walk out of here tonight, knowing that we netted $2.5 million out of this room, I'm a failure. I'm a loser, and I don't plan on being a loser. I told Robin, when this night's over, we will net $2.5 million for the kids. For the kids. You know what's amazing? And I said this to Urban earlier today. If Ohio State, if Notre Dame, next year we're honoring Brian Kelly, if Notre Dame, Alabama, any of the elite football powers, and what brought this to my mind was about a month or two ago, was an incredible article trying to build unbelievable football facilities, locker rooms, the whole bit, and they raised at their university millions and millions in no time. No time. Loyalty, I could respect that. Love for your school, I could respect that. But I have to beg, plead, get on my hands and knees basically, and beg people to be able to try to get $2.5 million. Something's not right about that equation. Something not right at all. Because we're talking precious lives. And as Patrick said, when his child had, I'm debating whether to say this, Patrick, but I'm going to say it. I don't think you'll mind. I saw Patrick, I got an award, the Heart of Gold Award. It was for dedication to helping people. And Patrick came. I said, no, Patrick, I don't see you around that often like I always used to do. Man, what's going on? And he got tearing up. He said, they took my house. I said, took your house? He said, yeah, when Peyton got sick, I couldn't work. I couldn't worry about working. I'm going from one hospital to another. I'm going from All Children's. I'm going for the Duke Hospital. I'm going Sloan Kettering. I'm going all over. I want to try a miracle to save my daughter. People don't understand the pain that it inflicts on a family and a life in many cases. So that's why I beg you. And now, tonight, I want you to see that your dollars do work. Because I'm going to bring up my all-courageous team. That anybody in this room that's coaching would love to coach these kids. I'm going to bring up a kid, for example, Najari Jackson. He just recently met with the president. He had cancer, had vocal cord surgery when he was young, and then he had cancer in his elbow. Couldn't hold him down. You know what he does? Unbelievable. Pajama grab bag. He fills it up with all kinds of toys and books. And he's brought 4,000 kids that have battled cancer since he started when he had his at 5. He's done it all over. He's a championship swimmer. He's an Eagle Scout. Unbelievable. You're going to meet Najari. I think about a youngster. Unbelievable. Think about Dylan Frenchman. Young kid, honor student, skiing, really gets leukemia he had, and today his mom and dad are both dentists. He's doing phenomenal in remission. I think about Ava Ebling. Ava, who I met today, my granddaughter's name, Ava, 12 years old, battle, honor student, playing softball, doing a phenomenal job. I think about the kids that I've met so many times. Tatum Parker, I introduced it. She wanted to meet Robin. Tatum's a 2-time cancer survivor. She had Ewing sarcoma, a smile like you can't believe. And all she does, you ready for this? She's in Indianapolis. Every time a kid has cancer, she meets the kid's family. They call her up, and she brings Tatum's bags of fun. Fills up bags with all kinds of toys and gifts for the child because she knows that lonely feeling, that empty feeling when you're sitting there doing your chemo. I think about Jake Taraska. They told him he wouldn't walk. They told him he wouldn't talk. Today, Jake is a varsity baseball star. Cancer, he beat neuroblastoma, a tough cancer to beat because he was tough. A guy that everybody here would like to coach. I think about Kyle Peters. I think about Kyle. Kyle, when he brain cancer, all-star, little leaguer, headache. Headache becomes, get Advil, take that, then finally doesn't go away, you go to the doctor, and they say he's got brain cancer, inoperable brain cancer. But because of research grants that we had and the brain cancer they worked on, his mom, Jennifer, she brought me to tears here a year ago. Jennifer, I will never forget, it was the most powerful words I've ever heard in my life. And I've had some people say beautiful things. She gave me a hug and she says, I want to thank you. You saved my son's life. I said, I saved your son's life. What did I ever do? She says, the research grant you had for Peyton Wright, the research grant for Peyton on brain cancer, saved my son, the doctors told me. And today he's cancer-free. What an incredible story. I think about Marissa Petty. She was a dancer, but her leukemia was so tough and strong she couldn't dance anymore. So now she sings, and now she's on iTunes, and she takes the music she sells on iTunes, takes the money and donates it to charity. My God, is that special? Special. I think of all these kids. I want you now to give an incredible ovation because your dollars have allowed them and their family to live a great, great life. They're cancer-free. Bring up that all-courageous team. Show your side, show your side. Oh man, Vitale. Cole Eicher. I didn't mention Aaron and Cole. Cole Eicher, brain cancer, and right now, when his friends got together, gave him $5,400. And the $5,400, he said, no, I don't want it. Give it to charity. Give it to charity. And then Aaron Kizalewski, can't do enough, cancer-free, had leukemia, and today doing a phenomenal job. Cole with the Tampa Bay Rowdies has done an incredible job. In fact, Cole and Najari, who sat next to me where I got to know him at the Community Hero Banquet, Jeff Vidic gave $50,000 for Cole and $50,000 for Najari. Great, great young people. And here, I want you all to look at this guy. I want you to look at this tough little linebacker. I know he broke the heart of Urban because he had a recruiting battle with Michigan. And he was at the Michigan practice when I was there recently. He said, Jim, you got legs up on him now, but Urban told me out there, it's not over yet, Dick. It's not over yet. How tough is this guy? 1,200 doses of chemo, radiation, battled and battled, and today is cancer-free. I love it, baby. That's it. That's it. That is why we're here. That's what it's all about. I only pray and wish that we don't ever have to give out those research grants in memory of people like, I mentioned Julia. Oh my God, I think about the moment her dad is here. And I called him up about 3 weeks ago. To be honest with you, I didn't even know she had passed. I thought she'd be here as one of those. And he said, Dick, Julia lost her life on March 23rd. Tore my heart out. If you'd have heard his voice. I saw him outside today, and we talked about him with Bo and with Urban when we were out there. Incredible. Where's Mr. Mounts? Just raise your hand if you're out there. I know you're out here. He said, if there was only more funding, he said, if there was only more dollars, he said, my daughter probably could be living. And I believe that. I believe it could save so many more lives. But I thank you. You've been great. Tonight, please, I beg you, if you're able, you know your financial situation. I don't want anybody to give that can't give. But if you can give and it's not going to hurt you, reach down. You might save someone you love. God bless. Thank you.
Dick Vitale.
Thank you, buddies. Thank you, guys. Quick, come here. Let's get a picture. Let's get one picture. Get a picture of Tatum. Get one picture. Come here.